theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music, so someone will probably make one up for us. I don't want to name any. Rachel! I hope it's Rachel that does that for the podcast.
We're back in the tiny room.
Back in the tiny room.
Welcome back to Michael and Benjamin's podcast. I am, as always, Michael, and with me, as usual, is my delectable co-host, Benjamin. Say hello, Benjamin.
Hello, Benjamin.
Yeah, classic.
Sorry, low-hanging fruit. I am delectable, but not very intellectually quick-witted.
No, a bit vaudevillian.
Vaudevillian. A lot of pratfalls in my routine.
Like Chris Pratt.
Not as handsome. Or as chiseled.
No, or as tall.
But I didn't split up with Anna Faris and leave his family in the lurch. So, hey, I mean, you know.
Oh. We're husband blaming, are we?
Yeah, why not?
Do we think
No, it was incredibly amicable, actually, by all accounts. Both parties were just like, both of us have different expectations. Let's conclude this business merger. It's been okay. Shame about the leftover assets.
Was one of their
son?
Was one of their expectations not to be cheated on? Welcome to Michael.
Did he cheat?
I'm not saying that. What am I, a gossip man?
I didn't hear any mutterings of.
Do you think the TV show Gossip Man was based on me? That's not what it's called. It's Gossip Girl.
It's Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
The unsuccessful spin-off set in Dublin was based on you, though. Gossip fella.
Gossip Man. Anyway, this isn't a gossip. Productive. This is not a gossip podcast. Ben, ask me the thing there.
So, at the time of recording, I am looking at what looks like the world's smallest, cheapest, mass-produced sex blow-up doll.
It's a bit much.
It's not inaccurate, though. It's got a few points of articulation.
It's got loads of points. It's got a wrist.
It's got a wrist articulation.
It's got a forearm swivel. It's got an elbow. It's got a double-jointed elbow, which is unusual in female action figures.
I was about to do. Can you guess what it is?
It's got a bicep swivel. It's got a shoulder swivel.
It's very unnecessarily swivelly.
It's too articulated. It's not under. It's got a what's that? It's got a T neck. It's got a diaphragm joint.
Everybody needs a diaphragm joint now and then.
It's got a hip.
I've got a hip.
Ball hips. It's got double jointed knees.
Oh, come on.
Calf swivel.
Ah, for Christ's sake.
Ankle and ankle tilt. Very articulated.
It seems unnecessarily
no
articulated.
Finger articulation and no
Are human beings that articulate?
Human beings are more articulated than that, but many are not as articulate.
Boom!
Got them. I got many humans. Ask me, Ben. This is taking too long.
Sorry, who even is this tiny articulated blow-up doll?
It's Psylocke.
Psylocke?
Yeah.
The British ninja?
Yeah, from X-Men.
The Brit ninja.
But look,
the Brinja.
That's not why we're looking at this. We're looking at this because we're talking about Inhumans, and in a very roundabout way, this is going to lead us to Inhumans.
I do hope
so. Come here, take that there from me, and have a look on the inside of her thigh there.
Okay,
and read out what you see there.
That's interesting. 2006.
Yeah.
Marvel Entertainment.
Yes.
Toy Biz.
Yes.
Incorporated. Sorry.
Yes.
Copyright 2006.
Yes.
Made in China.
Yes. Don't do a Chinese voice when you say China.
It wasn't China. That was Donald Trump saying China.
Oh, China.
That's how he says it.
And
I wasn't being racist.
No, even though you don't know where this is going, Trump is involved.
Okay.
So well done. So, right, this is an action figure. And it was made by Toy Biz. Incorporated. And Toy Biz are a toy company, obviously.
Thanks.
And Toy Biz were partially acquired by a gentleman called Ike Perlmutter. I think Ike is short for Isaac. I'm not sure.
That seems significant information.
Ike Perlmutter, it was from Israel.
Okay.
Which, as you know, we have no opinions about.
We have no opinions about what did I say about Israel? Why? what did I say?
What would I say? What did I say? It was a complex geopolitical situation. Anyway, so Ike. He's kind of the world of comics' biggest supervillain.
Oh wow, that's high praise.
He made his money initially as a kind of vulture fund operator.
Oh, we don't like those.
Well,
the only vulture fund operators I like are
the Vulture.
The Vulture from Amazing Spider-Man: Homecoming. Spider-Man: Homecoming. There's no amazing.
So anyway,
it was
look,
amazing later.
Ike acquired some companies in financial difficulty.
Nice.
And then sells his stake in them, and that's how he made his money.
Classic.
And one company he bought in financial difficulties was Toy Biz
Incorporated.
Yeah. So Ike Perlmutter's company in the 90s had a good relationship with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a lot of the Marvel toys.
Okay.
Then, as you know, in the 90s, Marvel kind of almost bankrupted themselves.
Yes. They did a wonderful job of tanking their business.
Yeah, they basically tanked their business with multiple covers and collector's special editions, and they created their own bubble and then burst it. I made it into a kind of a cool pose there.
That is quite a cool pose. It's much cooler than the actual action figure itself.
So,
I feel like you've wasted a good pose.
Marvel were in deep, deep financial doo-doo.
Balls.
And they wanted to get rid of their CEO at the time, whose name was Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman?
Not that Ron Perlman.
Not Hellboy.
A different Ron Perlman.
Okay, different Ron Perlman.
And they wanted to get rid of him, but he was kind of entrenched.
I see.
So they found it very hard to get rid of him. And one of the things he did to try and save them was to sell off the movie rights to their popular characters.
Oh dear.
As you know.
Oh dear.
You're well aware of this.
I am, but I'm feigning.
Yes.
Feigning a lack of information so as to better allow you to illustrate your point.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So they sold for all their popular characters.
Yeah.
Name one for me there.
Oh, I don't know. Fantastic Four?
Yes.
They I don't know. X-Men?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Some other big franchise that I can't think of right now.
Daredevil.
Spider-Man.
Daredevil. Blade.
Oh, Blade.
Ghost Rider.
Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider.
Hugely popular characters.
It burns!
I'm going to take this curse and own it. And then the pointy Ghost Rider finger. So, anyway, through a variety of deals,
yes,
Ike,
not with the devil as in Ghost Rider.
No. Well, possibly. Whatever
Mephistopheles.
the Israel version of the devil is. It's alright. We don't have any opinions about Israel.
We don't. I don't have any horse in this race.
No opinions.
I have no agenda.
That's a cool pose.
Stop it. Focus.
So, Ike basically took over Marvel.
Uh-huh.
And he hated the fact that these other companies had the rights to the Marvel properties.
Fair.
Now,
wait, sorry. Go back?
Yeah.
Ike took over Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay,
but the movie rights had been sold off
Perlman, yeah.
Before
Post-Perlman.
Yes.
Fair enough. Sorry, my brain.
Ike managed to oust Perlman.
Good for him.
And good for Marvel in a sense. He saved them from bankruptcy.
That was good of him.
Because he's a real financial head.
Yeah, he's a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah.
Bit of a Del boy.
He's not much of a man for the comics, which we have no opinion about.
We have no opinion about Israel.
Thanks, Rick and Morty. Anyway, so Ike was approached with the idea of Marvel setting up their own studio, and he said, "Yes, that's a great idea. You figure out some financing," and the people who proposed got the financing, and they greenlit this idea of creating a Marvel studio.
Good,
right? But as you well know, Ike hates the fact that those other companies have the properties that they can't use.
He is not a fan.
So I don't think anyone in the world could have imagined how how successful the Marvel Studios project was going to be.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
no one's ever seen this coming.
It was insane. I mean, they got an initial investment of just over $500 million,
which isn't a
lot, and they got that for 10 movies. So you're talking $10-50 million movies if they're not making profit. So the first movie made back more than the entire budget that they had put aside for 10.
Fair.
So then Ike a couple of things happened.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, apparently, he is one of the hardest people to work with in the world.
Oh.
A massive penny pincher.
That's not high praise.
No. He's a huge penny pincher.
Okay.
Allegedly, he's the reason that Terrence Howard left Iron Man 2.
Oh.
Because he refused to pay him his salary.
Wow.
And he was replaced with Don Cheadle, and there's a bit of a racist scandal there, but we won't go into it. Allegedly,
we might have to.
It looks like we are. Allegedly,
I don't actually, genuinely, not feigned ignorance, just ignorance this time.
Allegedly, Don Cheadle was cheaper at the time, and allegedly, Ike Perlmutter said, "This is allegedly." I don't like saying things that someone allegedly says.
This is not a retraction possibility. This is all possible, but none of it confirmed.
He is claimed to have said, "People won't tell the difference. They're both black."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
Ike, you dick.
Yes. Think of any big director who's fallen out with Marvel recently.
Oh, for instance, the big director that fell out with Marvel.
Name one.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon. Edgar Wright.
Oh yeah, he lost his
Ant-Man.
Which would have been much better. I did, because I watched Baby Driver again quite recently.
Yeah.
And all I could picture was him doing Ant-Man. And I was like,
great.
oh, that would have been much better than mediocre
Patty
Ant-Man.
Jenkins.
Which one is Patty Jenkins again? Is that Wonder Woman? No, it's not her.
She was going to do Thor 2.
Okay.
And then fell out.
Oh.
Kenneth Branagh.
Did he fall out?
He didn't so much fall out as said he would never really be interested in doing a superhero film again.
Which is fair.
Yeah. But all of these can apparently be traced back to Ike being a micromanager who doesn't really understand comics.
I can't stop backseat driving.
Yeah. But he has all the money.
Ah, curses.
So, one of Ike's pet peeves is X-Men.
Because they don't own X-Men.
Because they don't own the film rights to X-Men.
Yes.
And so, Ike kind of has a crusade going against them. One of the things he wants is to replace the X-Men with the Inhumans. Because they're... Yeah, you see...
God, that's a risky move.
In the sense of someone who doesn't know anything about comics, they're pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, but then again, we just found out that Ike potentially thinks that black people are interchangeable. So that potentially, there is still no slander being thrown around here.
Let's not lean too.
But go on. If we were to take anecdotal evidence,
it's not even anecdotal evidence,
which is
gossip.
Which is that Ike technically thinks that it doesn't matter what shade you are if you're all in the same colour group.
Well,
you're interchangeable.
No,
hang on.
Hold on. No, look, I'm stopping you there because it's gossip. It's internet
gossip.
Okay,
so if we take gossip evidence...
No, gossip isn't evidence.
And we apply that framework to our current projection...
I'm now regretting telling you that.
No. Ike is just a little bit too happy to just swap people in and out.
Might be. Probably isn't. Anyway,
definitely have a lawsuit.
So Ike hates the X-Men basically, and he has been responsible for quietly disappearing the X-Men. Yeah, good.
That was a disappearing sound effect.
Quiet. It's very hard to do quietly on a podcast. There we go.
No, it's not.
So he's been quietly disappearing the X-Men. X-Men, again, rumours, but the Marvel creative team aren't allowed to create new mutants anymore.
Oh.
If they have a new superhero, it has to be an Inhuman, not a mutant.
Oh. So he's like wholesale phasing them out of existence.
Yeah. He also cancelled, we don't know if it was him, but the creative controllers of Marvel cancelled the Fantastic Four comic.
Oh.
Mere months before Fox's new Fantastic Four movie came out.
Oh.
In a fit of piqué.
This is all very petty.
Petty? Yeah, right, exactly. So, his pet project was to get a Marvel's Inhumans movie made, which would basically be X-Men, but with the Inhumans characters. But everyone in Marvel Studios hates it.
Because he's a bit of a dick.
Allegedly, Benjamin.
Allegedly. Sorry. You can send the lawsuit to Ben at Michael and Benjamin's podcast. Leave Mick out of this. He's got 2 lovely cats.
2 cats.
And they depend on him for a lot.
They do. They need food.
He really can't afford a lawsuit. Not after the last one.
I like this action figure more and more now that I'm playing with it.
Well, you're drawing on it.
Oh yeah.
For Christ's sake.
So, Kevin Feige led a civil war.
I think that's a silly name.
It's his name. It's the man's name.
Feig.
Ben.
Surely you'd just take Feig.
It's Feige. Feig is the other guy, isn't it?
I don't know.
Paul Feig.
Paul
from
Feig.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Ooh, don't mix those 2 up. One of them's okay. One of them makes terrible reasons. Not because they're women.
No, just because
it's shoddily written, shot, and executed.
Yeah. And also women. No,
okay, you could maybe direct that lawsuit to Michael. At Michael Benjamin's
I'm going to be sued by the concept of women.
They're awful horrible.
Sorry, women. So,
oh no, the concept of women. Hang on.
How are we doing here? Oh yeah, we're alright. So, what are we talking about? Yes. So,
Kevin Feige.
Ironically enough, during the filming of Civil War,
Captain America
Civil War, Kevin Feige led a civil war against Ike Perlmutter and the Marvel Creative Department.
There.
And what he managed to do in his civil war. Do you know this?
No, I don't.
What he managed to do in his civil war.
I can't help you. I don't actually. I've never looked all that in depth into the Marvel cinematic politics.
So what Kevin Feige managed to do was get Marvel Studios, the movie production arm. It's basically an entirely separate company from Marvel now.
Oh, he annexed.
He basically created a new company, still under the Disney. Being bought out by Disney is what kind of allowed this. Because now Marvel Comics, and Marvel Studios are 2 separate companies.
Are they?
In 2 entirely separate independent companies.
Oh dear.
Owned by Disney. So they're the same company, but they're in any practical sense separate.
God bless Disney.
So yeah, Disney kind of saved Kevin Feige there. So that meant that the first thing Kevin Feige did when he got separate creative control was axe the Inhumans movie.
Fair.
Like a fuck you, Ike.
Fair though.
Straight away.
Fair though, because if I asked you to name 6 Inhumans.
Blackagar Boltagon.
Not you.
Medusa.
Not you.
Lockjaw.
Not you.
Not me personally.
Not you personally. It was a general you. If I asked a layman upon the street to name me 4 X-Men.
Or a lay woman.
Or a lay woman. We'd get... If we did the X-Men, we'd get Logan... Wolverine. Storm. Cyclops. Maybe. Nightcrawler?
No.
Beast?
No, I don't know. We should probably do this. Let's do a Vox Pop.
We should do a Vox Pop.
We'll do a Vox Pop.
We should do
and
a
we'll
Vox
send
Pop.
it to Marvel Ireland of us asking people to name 4 X-Men and 4 Inhumans.
You definitely get Wolverine anyway.
Well, no, I'm saying we should really... This is kind of an off-air conversation.
Magneto?
Let's actually do this.
Yeah, okay. Let's get a Vox Pop.
Yeah, we'll do a Vox Pop. That's our...
People know Magneto, wouldn't they?
I don't know. Is he an X-Men?
He's not an X-Man, but he is sometimes. Kind of depends on which comic you read.
Where are we? What are we talking about?
Sorry, yeah. So he axed the Inhumans movie.
Yes.
Which is fair on both a petty fuck you to Ike and fair in terms of actual popularity of those characters.
Yeah. And then, here's the magic thing. So, Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics are separate companies, but Marvel TV are still owned by Marvel Comics.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
So, all of the TV stuff...
The Netflix stuff as well? Or
Netflix,
is that...
yeah.
Okay.
Netflix and ABC...
Oh, God.
...is Perlmutter.
That's so messy.
Doesn't it start to make sense, though?
Well, there's complete tonal differences and absolute reluctance to go anywhere near anything from the films or vice versa.
Yeah. Also...
Coulson is never mentioned again.
That makes sense, though.
I know it makes sense, but I'm really surprised that no one has noticed that Phil Coulson is still alive.
Coulson lives.
Coulson.
Sorry. Cole. Yeah, but also the penny pinching.
Oh yeah.
Like things tend. Obviously, we haven't seen Inhumans yet,
Obviously.
but it looks cheap.
It does look very cheap.
It looks very cheap.
It looks very... See, the funny thing is, I think they always go for like minimalist design to show sleekness, but it's also cheap because it's minimalist design.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean, it just the Inhumans should be an expensive thing to make because it's not just X-Men. The whole point of X-Men is that they exist in the real world and they have real world problems and they have freaky powers.
Yeah.
But the Inhumans live on the moon.
On the moon.
That's
in Adelan.
one of the most expensive places to live,
To the moon.
other than Ball's Bridge.
Niche locality joke.
Got them.
You fucks.
Take that, Airbnb.
Anyone that lives in Ballbridge and listens to the podcast, sorry.
Yeah.
Please enjoy your avocado toast.
Yeah, enjoy that toast. Oh, yeah, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing you'll like about Ike, because I know that you like politics.
I do.
So one of the things that Ike likes to do...
Not politics in Israel, sorry.
No,
We should qualify that.
which we have no opinion about.
No opinion about.
But one of the things that Ike likes to do with his money, which he makes when you and I, let's say, go see Inhumans, or...
When we will go to see Inhumans, which we have not seen yet.
Which we haven't seen yet. But when we do go to see it, some of that money will go to Ike. And then Ike will use that money to donate to Donald Trump's charities.
Oh no. Oh no, I don't like this at all.
It all comes back, doesn't it?
Oh, that's where my Trump thing was actually.
Yeah, I told you I'd bring Trump into it.
No, I don't like that at all.
So that's the twisted tale of why there's an Inhumans TV show.
Because Ike's a bit of a dick that donates to Trump.
Yeah, well, no, that's almost inconsequential. But because Ike is a bit of a dick. Ike is so much of a dick that someone had to create a whole separate company to get away from him. And then, in a fit of spite, he said, well, even if you don't make your movie, I'm going to make a TV show because I'm still in control of the TV, and then we're going to show it in the cinema anyway.
God.
Exactly.
What a putz.
Look at that pose.
Just
Pretty cool.
Give me that.
No.
Give it.
No, I'm keeping her.
Give it to me. Give it good. It's a nice pose, but the time for Psylocke is coming past.
Bye, Psylocke.
I didn't think she was very well portrayed in the Fox movies.
By the lovely Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really get that much talking time.
No, well, she just became a generic baddie.
She did, didn't she?
Generic sexy lady baddie.
Sexy lady baddie.
Which there appears to be almost a carbon copy of in Inhumans, judging by the trailer.
Judging by the trailer. There's a
bit tired?
I'm not good. There's an old neck snap in that trailer, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's an old...
Some poor old bus driver.
Poor old bus driver just going about his rounds. Johnny from Hawaii.
Anyway, Ben, we've got a few minutes left. Why don't you tell us before we go see it? So should we tell the people what we're going to do?
We should probably give a little outline.
You tell the people what we're going to do.
Well, now that we have a background to why this
Abomination.
possible atrocity exists, yeah.
Why is her hair so high on her head? Doesn't make any sense.
We will post a photograph of this character on the Instagram.
Look, her hair is like...
Yeah, it's
there's the back of her head.
It's like it's leaning forward.
It's weird.
It's very
2006 women action figures weren't good. They really nailed it recently. Like Black Cat there is
some of your more recent ones are quite nice.
Much better lady. Or look at Maria Hill there, who looks like an actual human woman.
Maria Hill looks proper.
She looks like an actual human woman.
An actual human woman.
An actual human woman. Anyway, tell us, Ben, what's the plan? What are we doing?
Yeah, basically, I guess Ike's petty little ego wouldn't let him not release Inhumans in the cinema. So the first two episodes of Inhumans, the TV series, ABC created, is going to be shown in IMAX of all things. So not only did he decide to put out a TV show in the cinema, he decided to put a TV show out in the most opulent form of cinema that we have, which is IMAX.
Is opulent your word for comically expensive?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Opulent.
Yeah.
Opulentastic. It's not a word. But yeah, so Michael and I, in order to save you the
ignominy.
The ignominy. Oh, nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thanks. I've been working out. I've been working
the
out
ignominy
my brain.
of just suffering through that doldrum. Yeah, we're gonna go see it for you.
Yeah, we might bring our friend John.
We might bring our friend John. John's a great guy.
If he's not busy.
Yeah, if he's not.
So Ben, before we do go see it, well, we're going to include it in this podcast, right?
Yeah, sure.
So before we do go see it, why don't you tell us what even is the Inhumans?
What even is the Inhumans? Well, Michael.
Yes, Ben.
Cast your mind back.
Right?
To 1965.
I can't.
Cast your hypothetical mind.
Yeah.
Back to 1965. Oh my god.
Look at her butt.
Michael has grown tired of posing Psylocke in actual comic book ways and is now just resorted to X-rated films.
Ludity.
Yeah, so 1965.
I can't cast my mind back that far
Stan Lee.
Because, Ben, I can only cast my mind back as far as things which have happened in my lifetime.
I told you, you're an immortal psychic vampire from Quarant 9.
Oh yeah.
You've been around a long time. You just give yourself amnesia periodically so you don't get lonely through the immortality of existence. Anyway.
Wow. I got deep.
Yeah, it didn't it? That's also my side project. I'll post the link down below. But Stan Lee, Stan the Man Lee, and Jack Kirby, dream team that they were in Marvel back in the day, decided that, yeah, the X-Men were good and all.
Yeah.
The X-Men were good and all, but maybe there was something to be said about these characters that exemplified outsiders in society and could maybe show off some other aspects of that we don't see in the X-Men.
Oh, do you think?
I don't know if that was the exact thought process. I'm always a little hesitant to give Stan Lee genius status when the people are like, oh, he really changed how comic books done. I think he just found a formula that worked and then began to apply that to lots of things.
Was the formula calling characters with two words that start with the same letter?
Yes, their actual name would then correspond to their superhero name. For example, the leader of the Inhumans and king of Atalan is Black Bolt, or to use his given name,
hold on,
Blackagar Boltigan.
Oh, you got it right.
Blackagar Boltigan. I only get it wrong as a bit. I don't always get them wrong. Blackagar Boltigan. So you can see where this is going. He has a duplicitous brother called Maximus.
Yeah.
Maximus, bit of a dick, bit of an Ike. Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, that's borderline.
Allegedly.
I don't know if we can say that.
Of course I can.
But I mean, I know you're meaning Ike as in Ike Perlmutter, but it just...
Does that have a... Oh, that's close. Yeah, alright. I take that back. That's a Ben's retraction in the moment. What's his second name?
Perlmutter. A bit of a mutter.
Bit of a mutter.
Yeah.
Bit of a mutterfucker. Yeah, he has a wife.
Ike Perlmutter?
No, well, possibly. I don't know.
No one knows. No one knows anything about him.
No one knows.
He's the most secretive man in Hollywood.
Really?
There are 2 extant photographs of him.
That's fascinating.
One from the 80s.
Can we put one in the video?
Yeah.
So people know.
I don't know. He might find us.
Spreading awareness of
what he looks like.
Fucking, yeah. Oh,
sorry, go on.
So you can spot him when he's coming to vulture fund you. So yeah, he has a wife, Medusa.
Depends. Do you want to be British or American?
Which one? Medusa is American, right?
No, Medusa's British.
Oh, is it Medusa? Medusa's American.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'll go American Medusa.
Sweet.
So he has Medusa, and she has magic hair.
Magic hair. Super
magic
strong
hair. Super strong hair.
Mm-hmm.
Black Bolt.
She could punch a man with her hair.
She can.
Will.
And does quite often. It's invulnerable hair. It's very, very highly resistant to damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Black Bolt himself, who's the strongest, fastest, most capable, physically capable Inhuman.
Yeah.
And that is why he has been chosen. The Inhuman society itself is quite heavily based in genetics and genetic superiority and a caste system. There's a whole thing, and he is the strongest, fittest, most capable physically of the thing, except he cannot recite poetry, because if he opens his mouth, stuff don't get broke. So he's a lonely god. Not just reserved for Doctor Who.
He is called a god quite often.
He is.
He's that powerful.
He's taken on the Hulk in one.
Even without his voice.
Even without his voice, he's taken on the Hulk in one. He's also mildly telepathic in some iterations. He can talk through his mind.
He can do a telepathy on
if
you.
If it's tactile, is it tactile telepathy?
Yeah.
If he touches you, he can talk to you.
Because he can control electrons. Or electrons.
Oh, of course. So, Michael, you're a recovering scientist.
Yeah.
How does the control of electrons help one to be telepathic?
Well then, we've had to edit that out.
What?
That explanation of...
Oh, it's gone.
Why? Because the science police...
But it was so good.
I know.
It was such a good explanation.
Yeah, the CIA, in conjunction with the science police, have made us retract that.
Because both of us can now control electrons after your explanation.
Yeah. Look at this. I'll use my electron powers to put Psylocke in a sexy pose.
It worked. She just turned and placed her posterior in my face. Amazing. So anyway, moving on from there. He's big and strong and tough. Maximus in the comics, bit of a super genius.
Yeah.
Bit of a dick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Loki.
Yeah, he's kind of a Loki. Does Stanley have a brother? I bet the relationship isn't so good if he does.
Larry Lieber.
Oh yeah, what does he do again?
He's a writer.
He's a writer. How's their relationship?
Yeah, it must be bad.
It must be bad. There's a lot of toxic brother relationships in Marvel. Loki, Thor, Black Bolt, Maximus, Scott Summers and Alex Summers. They have a very tense and fraught brotherhood. I don't know. Stanley has a weird... It's sorted out. Stan hasn't got that much time left.
Yeah, even Reed Richards and Dr. Doom are brotherly.
Best friends.
Yeah. That's very interesting, man. I think you've stumbled on something there.
That's weird, isn't it?
Can I think of... Are there any others? Let's do that podcast gold of sitting silently and trying to think of other...
Yeah, people love that when we do that.
Of other...
so yeah, he's a bit of a dick. And there's a whole host of other ones. There's Karnak, the man who can see the flaw in everything. And exploit it, more importantly. There's Gorgon, who is the head of the military in Attilan.
His goat feet.
And kind of interestingly, their first appearance was in Fantastic Four in 1965. But before that, Medusa and Gorgon had appeared much earlier in the series. And Medusa was not attached to Black Bolt. She was attached to the Wizard.
That guy with the hover pads.
The wizard with the hover pads, who was like a rival of Reed Richards.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
Again, bit of a putz.
Sean Cassidy and no, they're cousins.
They're cousins. But they're close, again. Tense family tie. Tense family tie. Anyway, the Lieber household was not a fun place to grow up, apparently.
Cain and Abel.
That's biblical, Michael. Stan Lee. I know it seems plausible that Stan Lee wrote the Bible because it is very silly.
He's very old.
And there's a lot of that Kirby crackle in the illustrations. But no, not a Marvel publication. Yeah. So anyway, that's that's them, and they kind of act as a little bit more politically.
A lot more.
A much more political X-Men. I think Stan Lee kind of used them as a lens. Well, I don't think Stan Lee used them, but they were much later exploited as a lens to look at society and structures of power and oppression in society. Black Bolt and Maximus are part of a royal family, so there's that whole angle there. They oversee a large, tightly resourced society on the moon.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of problems when you think about it logically. So that's that. I think it's going to be terrible.
Well, it does have one thing on its side, and that is noted showrunner Scott Buck.
That was my can. As in Immortal Iron Fist, Scott Buck.
Yes,
who bucks things up.
He does. He bucks a lot of things up. He bucked up Iron Fist.
Bucking son of a buck.
Would you say fucking son of a fuck?
No, but it suits better to say bucking son of a buck because he is quite literally the son of a buck.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's go to the pub then.
Let's go to the pub then.
All right then.
Alrighty.
Let's hold on. Let me do a seam.
Sorry. Come on. Do a seamless.
I'm gonna do a seamless
transition. We're not in the tiny room anymore.
No, we're in the pub.
We're in the pub. We are in the pub.
We're in a pub with our
pub.
friend John.
Hello.
Say hello, John.
What's going on?
That is a very good question.
John was invited under false pretenses.
Yeah.
John
I'm not
thought
paying for my ticket, let me stress that.
very
So yeah, first of all, let's point out that the tickets for this glorified television show,
which doesn't look great.
no, not that glorified, a barely glorified television show, the tickets were $17.50 each. So that means we have paid $56.50.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
correct.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
The maths on that is pretty solid.
serious math.
50 something anyway.
Yeah, it's 50 something.
We have paid
50
50 something for 3 tickets to see something we're not even that inclined to see.
We've done this for you,
I don't even know what it is.
which is why, again, we cannot stress enough that John has not paid for his ticket. We would not allow this to take place.
John, do you want to know anything about what this is?
Yeah, go on.
Go on there, Ben.
How would you describe it? I know it's Marvel, that's it.
Okay, well that's a good start. It's as good a start as any. So these are the Inhumans,
Yeah.
and I think their first appearance was actually in a Hulk comic.
But obviously we talked about that earlier. But
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We did talk about this earlier in the podcast. Sorry. Our planning is seamless. Of course.
planning.
Seamless.
Of course. I said
So-
seamless transition. But look, it doesn't really matter where their first appearance was, does it really, Ben?
No, not
If you think
really.
about it.
Okay, so we'll do the layman's version.
Do the layman's.
We'll
Yeah,
do the
yeah,
layman's.
yeah, do the
There are a
layman's.
Just
couple
pretend I'm like
there are
just
a
some
couple
guy.
of core characters that you need to know about.
Yeah.
Black Bolt is one.
Tell him Black Bolt's real name.
I get
Blackagar Boltagon.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
What?
it was the 60s.
Oh, right.
It was the 60s. Just
Boltagon.
Blackagar
Boltagon.
Boltagon.
And he can't talk because
Okay.
if he does, he can level mountains.
He's got
What?
like a supersonic voice, but it's not just sonic, it's electron.
It's not like the Oasis album.
He's so...
Are you trying to relate to me?
I feel like that might be a good reference to segue into. So he's the
Okay,
leader.
so he's kind of like Liam Gallagher then.
He is.
His
Yeah,
voice.
he's Liam Gallagher.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
perfect.
His whiny voice brings
He
down
is-
mountains.
Yeah. And prone to destructive behaviour.
And he is the strong silent type, quite literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on from there, we have his duplicitous brother Maximus.
Maximus.
That's... I don't know if it's Maximus Boltagon. It would make
I'm
sense
assuming it is.
for it to be.
I'm
What?
assuming it
Because
is.
they're brothers.
The brothers.
Yeah.
And the leader's name is Black Bolt, but Black Bolt is short for Blackagar Boltagon.
Okay.
So surely Maximus's name is Maximus Boltagon.
Yeah.
Or Max Bolt.
Max Bolt.
Max Bolt.
And he actually
Maximus.
there's a bit of a
Maximus.
there's a bit of a point of tension here between the two brothers
He's
because
just a bad egg.
he's got no superpowers.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the
Well,
comics,
like a really cool voice.
In the comics, he does. He has like a.
so cool. You can't use it.
He has a super. Is he a
In the
super
comics,
genius?
no, in the comics he's got mind powers.
He's got mind.
This idea of
powers.
him not having powers is new to this adaptation.
Okay, so
Of course, we
they've
talked about that earlier.
stripped him of his powers. I think that's probably to give him a character point. So it's
Okay.
like, oh, he's all sore because he's got no
Okay,
superpowers.
This is like his limp.
But
Yeah, that's his super villain.
he's got a gammy leg. As
Yeah,
well.
that's
Oh,
his.
really?
That's
No.
his. That's his super villain
Okay,
defect.
yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, so right. So imagine, right, in the 90s, this came back, right, and this was.
I remember the 90s.
Do you remember the 90s?
Yeah.
In the 90s, you had
don't.
Oasis, for
You
example,
did. And Blur. Don't forget Blur.
and Pulp,
Yeah.
and the Inhumans.
I don't remember that bit.
No, nobody does. The Inhumans were a kind of allegory
Allegory.
for
Allegory?
class war allegory, yeah, for class warfare and think like
Race politics.
race politics, but a bit
Okay.
of Gattaca. Have you seen Gattaca?
Yes, yes.
So a bit of Gattaca.
Class thrown in there.
The more
Bit of eugenics.
yeah, a lot
Oh,
of
there's a lot of
eugenics.
eugenics.
The more kind of proper your genes are, then the better chance you have of being selected to undergo this process that gives you superpowers.
Right.
And your role in society is determined by the superpowers you get.
And once you have your powers, no choice.
Yeah, you're settled in.
That's you.
So the worst thing that could happen is that you might just never be selected because you're of the lower castes, and then you're just a normal person in the city. Or you could be from one of the more powerful families, and you could be selected to be mutated. But don't say mutated because that belongs to a different film studio.
Okay.
So inhumanized,
Oh, I see.
Right,
Now I
Terrigen.
understand.
So you could be selected, and you could come out as a primitive, kind of a Morlock, someone with a gammy leg.
Okay.
And if you come out gammy,
That's
basically,
it.
that's it. You're off to the mines.
Oh, there's mines.
Yeah, you're going out to the mines.
I didn't know the Inhumans had mines.
Well, you did because I told you.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
20
we
minutes
covered
ago.
this 20 minutes ago.
Send the invalids to the mines.
Yeah.
Very slow production.
Yeah. It's all very Swiss.
But are they humans?
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah,
you might have to cut that out.
edit that out. That was a bit of racism there from Ben.
Bit early.
Sorry.
Early in the pod.
They're kind of humans,
They come from Earth.
kind of. They were humans,
Right.
and they were genetically modified by an alien race
Okay.
called the Kree. They've been in the movies.
The Kree are always acting
They're
in
the
it.
blue lads,
Yeah, yeah. That sounds
and they
right.
were genetically modified to be weapons. But then they discovered that they were unmanageable, so they kind of said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I just left them on Earth, basically.
Okay.
And they can be found in various different places on Earth. Sometimes they used to be in Atlantis. Sometimes they used to have a floating city above New York.
All right.
And sometimes they used to be on the moon.
They've got a floating city in New York again, don't they, in the comics? Which we covered 20
No, it
minutes
blew
ago.
up.
Oh, for feck's sake, I can't
Yeah.
keep up.
Yeah, I
do
told you that, Ben. 20
Sorry,
minutes ago.
we knew
Do
that.
people
20
know
minutes
they're
ago.
there? Like the float, everybody can see the floating
So-
city above New York.
In the past, no. In the old comics, they were like a hidden secret society of eugenicists, and it was a different, like it was about eugenics and class and things like that. But then, Marvel Cinema lost the right to the X-Men,
Right.
and they said, "Fuck, we don't have the X-Men anymore. Let's just make the Inhumans into the poor man's X-Men."
You would say the
The
eugenicists.
eugenicists. That's going to be my knockoff comic. So let's just make the eugenicists into the new X-Men. And in the comics, the leader of the Inhumans, Blackadar Boltagon, set off a bomb that spread this mutating factor
Yeah.
all over the world.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
follow me.
Yeah. Kind of.
And it kind of activated all the latent Inhumans. So in the past, basically in the past, whenever Stan Lee, Ben, get ready, whenever Stan Lee had to invent a character, he would invent a mutant if he didn't want to explain the origin of their powers.
Yeah.
So he did it, your Spider-Man, your Captain America, and he went through this elaborate story. But then after that he got bored of doing that, so he would just go,
Oh, I need someone to do something epic. Ice, fire, Inhumans, gas.
It's like he's in the room.
pretty good. It was a
Is
little
that
bit
Stan
Rick
Lee?
from Rick and Morty.
Okay, sorry.
Is that
Morty,
supposed to be Stan
don't
Lee?
even question me, Morty.
Is that what he sounds like?
No, not anymore.
It's eugenics, Morty.
So in the past, whenever he wanted to make no Rick and Morty.
Sorry.
Whenever he wanted to make up a character, he would just make them a mutant.
Yeah.
But then they lost the rights to the movies, so they don't want to produce any more mutant characters, because the mutant characters' rights automatically go to Fox. So now the Inhumans are basically the mutants. And we think that this movie
Yeah.
that we're going to see
This awesome movie in IMAX.
in IMAX,
So there's going to be some incredible piece scenes, I guess, isn't there?
No.
It's on
No, I
IMAX.
don't think so.
Space and stuff?
I think this is
No?
going to be what we call.
Underwater even?
I think this is what we call a hot mess.
Okay.
think cheap.
We might be surprised.
We might be surprised.
We might be surprised, but
This might be great.
John, more importantly, based on our ad hoc summarization of the Inhumans,
Yes.
how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 1 to higher caste system leading to superpowers?
I feel like I've got a gammy light coming in.
Right. All right.
Okay,
Let's go in. Let's
so
go in and watch
let's
this.
go watch
Okay.
this.
And we'll talk about
Let's
it
go watch
afterwards.
They
this.
better pay for my coke too.
Wait, cocaine or?
We'll see.
I've been looking for you.
What are we?
What if I told you there's a place where people have powers like us? The city of Adelan. And I can take you there. We're Inhumans.
Well, that's certainly over.
Making podcasts is hard.
It is with the source material's fucking
my
shite.
Look, at least it's over.
Yeah. It's something, it's happened, it happened, and now it's finished.
But
And
that's
that's it.
That's
And
an hour
some
and
people
70
were there.
minutes I'm never getting back.
How long was it? It didn't seem that long. That was
No,
merciful.
that was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Shit storytelling will fly by.
I think the most weird thing about it as a cinematic experience was that they didn't edit out the fact that it's 2 episodes.
Yeah, that was funny.
The bit in the middle.
It's very
That was
disjointed
awful.
and choppy. Yeah.
The flashback to 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, like where am I? You're on Earth. We saw you teleported there.
Just came down.
Sinead O'Connor's PTSD.
Yeah, it was a bit peculiar. Well, I mean, we're doing spoilers, aren't we?
Oh,
Let's do
I
spoilers.
think it
Fuck
matters.
that. It doesn't matter.
So
No
we'll
one's
just
watching
call,
it.
We'll just call Medusa Sinead.
Sinead.
I like how
I
they.
preferred her when she got her head shaved.
She was more attractive.
Yeah.
I don't
She
know.
was much fitter with a shaved
She's
head.
an attractive lady. I don't know if she's big screen IMAX attractive though.
I don't think anybody is.
Don't think
really.
any of them would be
It's not very,
screen IMAX
it's not very
attractive.
forgiving.
But they solved the special effects budget problem with her hair. Pretty.
Yeah.
lucidly.
Oh yeah, we'll just scalp her.
Just scalp
I'll
her.
take care of that.
Yeah.
Also, world's shittest superpower. Yeah, it's prehensile, super strong hair.
Yeah.
But it's easy to shave off.
Unless Maximus has a clippers.
But look, here's the funny thing, right?
Where's anyone else, by the way, getting World War II imagery from that?
No.
But the shaving the hair.
Persecution.
No, I have a shaved head.
Yeah, but you weren't forcibly shaved.
Society.
There's going to be a dark window into
Yeah,
Mick's
let's not go into
life.
it.
Okay, fair enough.
go there.
Here's the thing, though, right? Here's a strange thing. When they were arresting Black Bolt, she can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, I was going to say diction. Because I didn't know. Was it his name is Blackpool, Black Bull, Black Bolt, Black Ball? I heard them all.
They couldn't pronounce his name.
My favourite catchphrase ever is John saying, "Yeah, I was going to say diction." That's definitely going
And
on
even
a
the name of the
t-shirt.
city, it was like, what is it? It's kind of
Adeland.
Yeah, it's kind of. What's the name of the city?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but she couldn't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Black-
It was definitely
Blackpool.
Blackpool for ages.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
That was weird.
Why are they going to Blackpool?
I think the actors probably phoned it in about halfway through. They were just like, look,
yeah, this-
it's a paycheck. It's one season.
Bizarre.
Yeah, what do you think Ramsey was thinking?
Yeah. Well, he just got to
poor-
play Ramsey again.
Yeah.
He's
a
less
much worse show.
psychopathic
Yeah,
so
but
far in this.
when
But
he
I was
was
totally on his side for the first 20 minutes.
I was
he seemed
totally
like a
on
good
his.
guy.
I was totally on his side for the entire thing. That's the biggest flaw with the
Yeah,
series.
it's going to be
You
hard to get behind those
can't
characters.
Get behind those characters. They're a pack of royal elitists.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Keeping the-
oversee a caste system. Caste system.
Caste system,
Sorry.
cut that out.
Caste system.
Diction, Ben.
Caste system. And have no intention of fixing it.
Yeah, slaves down working in the mines.
Yeah.
We're supposed to root for
Medusa
them.
has a moment where she talks about how she's going to hang his body over the wall of Adeland
Yeah.
as a message to the lower caste system to stay in their
I
place.
think you'll find it's Medusa.
What did I say?
Medusa.
Oops.
Medusa.
Medusa.
Medusa in Adelaide.
Well, anyway,
And what happened to the
white
guy
privilege lady
Yeah.
is going to hang a peasant's body over the wall
Yeah.
to tell the other peasants, don't you be starting shit.
That's how to teach
But
them.
that's social commentary. Like, here's the
it?
good thing, though. From the perspective of not wanting to watch the rest of the series, if we're supporting Maximus, that was a happy ending.
It was
Yeah, that's
actually,
true.
yeah.
He won.
I know, I smashed that system. Maximus.
Yeah, Maximus Marxist.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're
Smash it up.
Him and the
Here's the thing,
proletariat.
though,
Out to the people.
here's the weird thing. When they were trying to arrest Black Bolt, and he was looking at the handcuffs like he'd never seen handcuffs
Yeah.
before, and yet
You won.
And
The
yet
princess
Max-
was in handcuffs.
she was in
wasn't she?
handcuffs. But aside from that, when Maximus was shaving Medusa's hair, he just used a run-of-the-mill Remington head
That's right.
shaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, your man's never seen an Apple iPhone.
There's new age cloaking technology, the most amazing smartphone since, I don't know, pick a funny smartphone.
I don't know.
But no, we
Wow.
clip our hair with a good old mechanical plug-in, and handcuffs are a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, and then like he,
But the idea that they know nothing about the Earth, like that.
except what
Oh,
cars
hang
are.
on. Except what fucking cars are. Out of nowhere she goes, I hear cars. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you know what cars are?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Black Bolt looks confused when they're taking his picture, and he's like, it's like he's never seen that.
Well,
before.
first of all,
and
let's-
then the very next scene, someone's looking at a picture of Black Bolt.
Let's take 2 seconds to talk about fucking Black Bolt's facial expressions.
Which is
Mr. Bean will not be dead as long as Mr. Mount, the guy that plays, what is his name? Ansel Mount, is that his name?
Mount.
Anson Mount?
Mount, yeah.
Mount, Mr. Mount.
That's the actor's name.
Yeah,
Yeah, they look made up names too.
a lot of
Mr.
them
Mount.
pretty fake
I
looking
was
names.
just, but like unbelievable easy paycheck for him.
I think it's hard.
Turns up,
Yeah,
raises his
You
eyebrows.
have no lines. You got to do all your acting with your face.
Just use your face.
Obviously, he didn't get the
And
fucking memo. He does one expression for everything.
But he is
Slightly
He
bewildered.
worked that face. He worked that face.
He did.
Slightly bewildered and smug.
I think
Like when he's running away. He looks back.
I'm never, for the rest of my life, ever going to run away from the situation without making that face.
It was kind of like Jack Sparrow.
A little bit, yeah.
It's just a little bit of Jack Sparrow.
There was a
going on.
little bit of Jack Sparrow running across the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
exactly. But it was that exact face where it was like, ooh, heck. It's like a carry-on film.
Also, I like the fact that in the comic book Karnak, obviously as we discussed earlier, his power is that he can see the flaw in everything, which is why he's so negative. Mm-hmm. But like it extends to the physical. Like if there's a pillar, he can see the flaw in it, and he could hit it on the flaw, and that would make it collapse. But they seem to have reduced that to some sort of probability prediction thing, and then he suffered a head injury.
Yeah.
And now he's lost. Oh, they've done that for all the characters though. Oh, each elitist has been laid low by the loss of their powers. So Medusa gets a head shave. Gorgon realizes he can't swim.
You're right.
Karnak can't use his powers anymore. So they're all going to learn a little lesson. They're all
Crystal-
going to learn that. By the way,
What about
sorry.
Bulldog or Blackpool, whatever his name is? He can still use his powers, can't he?
Yeah, he just doesn't
He's
want
just
No.
like,
He's
hiding in the alleyway.
he's going to learn to be diplomatic and to take action.
Here
that
was
always works.
Here was what was good though. When he blew up his parents, that was spectacular. That was spectacular.
The greatest teenage angst fit
It
ever.
was insane.
By the way,
Yeah. I think they should investigate the trauma that's caused.
Yeah.
A little more.
they also let him go back to being king.
but that is like his backstory.
Oh, is it?
Traditionally,
Okay.
yeah, he did kill his parents. But that was a great scene where he just goes, "Why?" And he just vaporizes them into bloody smears on the
Yeah,
wall. It was spectacular. That was the only kind of cinematic moment of the entire
I
thing.
admired
for
the
me.
balls on Maximus challenging him. I was like, it's pretty ballsy. I was like,
Maximus is the only one you'd be rooting for, really. Like, if you had to root for somebody.
if you had to pick somebody, it would be him. It's fucking.
The
By the way, sorry, just come back because you mentioned Crystal. What kind of characterization has she got?
She doesn't have any really. She's a teen.
Is she a
who is she?
teen?
It looks like she's a teen.
She's
I
the
could-
sister of
Yeah, but that
Medusa.
they're all a family, are they? They're all related?
Cousins.
I think
same way
Black
Europe-
Bolt. I think Black Bolt and the men are all related, and then Medusa married into that family, and
She's Medusa's sister.
yeah, Crystal is Medusa. Also, the relationship between Gorgon and Medusa and Crystal is not explained at all.
Gorgon and Crystal.
Because remember, he gets up from the dinner table and he's like, "Crystal now." And
He's her
just,
bodyguard.
like- Oh, is he her bodyguard?
Well,
Is he
he's the
Bruce-
chief of the royal guard, and they have to
Oh,
guard
okay.
her.
Did
Okay.
they pick the stupidest guard to be chief? Yeah,
Yeah,
is that how it
look,
goes?
his character arc did seem to be, I'm going to wait here because they've not written anything for me to do.
He's found surfers.
I'm gonna
though.
hang out
He
with
found a
surfers.
surfer
He
family.
found surfers in Hawaii. What a genius.
And then it's like, we're
Apparently
going
certain-
to
What?
stay here and help you. We're going to stay here and defend our
yeah.
beach. What are they going to do?
by the way-
Surf against the guards when the guards arrive?
Probably.
Hang on.
Because Inhumans can't swim,
Yeah?
so they're just going to let them drown.
Let's remember the magic phrase from Surfer Dude 1, which is, I'm assuming, what his name is. You must be one of those Inhumans I read about.
Yeah.
They're not pre-established.
Yes, they are.
Seems to be.
Their entire existence is dependent on whether or not they are found on the moon.
No. You've let the side down there, Ben.
Have I?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has Inhumans.
Boo.
Yeah, well, you can't be annoyed at that.
Boo.
You can't be annoyed
So
at
all
that.
the police and everything on Honolulu, they're aware of these kind of superhero type
Well, it's
beings.
in, yeah, because it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So the Avengers
So they know
exist,
about
Iron
Iron
Man
Man and all
exists.
these people.
So
So
they that's why they weren't that freaked out.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
called him a freak.
Right.
I'd like to point out that me not having seen Marvel's or ABC's Avengers or what are they?
We'll try that again. Get a bit tired.
ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Diction.
has not let the side down. If anything, I'm keeping the standard up.
Nah.
If that is anything indicative of what the other ABC series have, I am missing out on shit.
Do you need a toilet break?
No, I don't need a break. But if we could make a quick stop in the toilet,
We will
we
before we
finish
go
up.
home. So yeah, I'll watch the rest of them though.
Will you?
Yeah.
Mick is a completist. He can't.
would never,
He's
ever
got.
watch that
Obviously,
again.
I'm never going to watch that again.
Say that again without Ben talking over you.
I would never ever watch that again.
That's probably a wise decision.
All right, let's leave it there then. Thanks, John.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna go on.
No, I was just going to say, because I haven't watched any of the other Marvel series, how would you say that fares against them?
About standard.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's not as good as the good Netflix series.
Yeah.
So it's not as good as Daredevil, Jessica Jones. It's probably not even as good as Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, yeah, probably
But
not.
it's about on par
on
with
par with-
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Because of who's the showrunner they have in common?
Not Scott Book.
No, sorry, I am too tired
you've
to
booked
do
it
this.
up, Ben.
I've booked it up. This is a phrase we came up with in the middle of the cinema. Scott Book, you're an arse.
Yeah.
You booked that right up.
You booked that right up.
Complete book.
Okay. So
It's about as good.
it was
as,
like a network TV standard fare.
That's all it was. Yeah.
You're not going to get it next
garbage.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
really bad,
Yeah.
two-dimensional characters, but really easy plot.
Just the way things happen. Like, oh, no, he's the king. Oh, well,
Also-
there was a coup there.
Wallface.
Wallface was the best character.
Wallface was the best character. Had a
Yeah.
little bit of sass.
Wallface. The man who was
Oh,
also
yeah.
a wall.
I like Wallface.
Al Rack.
Who cares what his name was?
Although
Wallface.
the transport systems do need a bit of tweaking.
Yeah.
They never get you quite exactly. There's still a bit of running to do after you're
Either.
She said to the dog, bring me
exactly
here.
where he is.
And he's like, close enough.
Yeah, same planet.
And also phased her into a rock.
Yeah. Well, didn't phase her.
That was
That was just a little dick.
Little
I like
joke
Rockface. You see, because in the comic books, the whole point of Inhumans is that they're genetically individuals. There are no two Inhumans who are alike. Everyone is completely different.
Probably
And
stopped
that
the
was-
inbreeding problem.
Well, the idea is that they're selected. There was a little moment of it in it where Karnak was saying that, and then Maximus disagreed with him. But one theory is that they're selected by need. So if there's a need for lots of flyers, 3 or 4 years before the thing happens that requires a lot of flyers, they'll suddenly start being produced. And some of them believe in this need, and some of them think it's purely random, and that you're only seeing a need, right?
Well, they must be about
So
to need
false.
a whole bunch of pricks then. For some reason.
Okay.
Let's leave it there. I'll do it. Bye.
Bye.